Professor Jensen, do you remember where the bomb is? Young FBI agent looked at elderly man. Robert Jensen was 68 years old, was former bomb expert. 40 years ago, in Vietnam War, 30 years ago at FBI, had defused hundreds of bombs, but now had Alzheimer's disease for past 3 years. Memory going, forgetting names, forgetting places, sometimes even forgetting where he was. Bomb, Bob said. Which bomb? Downtown Portland, Conference Center. You placed bomb there 40 years ago. Training purposes, but bomb still there, active. And tomorrow, 5,000 people will be at Conference Center. Bob confused. I don't remember. Professor, please. You must remember. Where is bomb? Bob held head. Don't know. Don't remember. Everything blurry. But that night, bomb would be found. Because even though Robert Jensen's memory was gone, muscle memory's still there. And sometimes, hands remember better than brain. If you love discovering extraordinary abilities in ordinary people, don't forget to subscribe right now. Hit that like button and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Robert Jensen's story began 68 years ago, March of 1955. Born in small Minnesota town, Duluth. Father Carl Jensen was factory worker. Mother Margaret was homemaker, had 2 siblings. Older brother Thomas, 3 years older. Little sister Emily, 2 years younger. Bob, as child, was very curious. Wanted to take everything apart. Clocks, radios, toys, to see how they worked inside. Father would get angry. Robert, enough? These toys are expensive. Don't break them. But Bob wasn't breaking, was dismantling, and then reassembling. Every time. At 8 one day, took apart Father's radio, laid all parts on table. Brother Thomas came in and saw. Bob, what are you doing? Dad will kill you. Was curious. How does radio work? But can you put it back together? Yes. And did. 2 hours later, radio worked. Like before. When Father came home, turned on radio. Music played. Noticed nothing. Bob smiled. First success. At 10, participated in school science fair. Made electrical circuit. Simple alarm system. When door opened, bell rang. Came first. State level. At 12, fixed school's electrical system. Before electrician arrived. Principal was surprised. Robert, how did you do this? Read. In library. Electricity books. At 14, high school. Physics and chemistry classes. Highest grades. Mathematics. Geometry. Perfect. Teachers told parents. Robert is extraordinarily talented. Should study engineering. Or physics. But at 18, something happened. Vietnam War. 1973. Mandatory military service. Bob was drafted. Father worried. Son, you don't want to go to war. Go to Canada. Escape war. But Bob didn't escape. Dad, I must serve my country. We'll go. But you'll die there. Maybe, but won't run. June 1973. Bob sent to Fort Benning for basic training. Georgia. 8 weeks. 5 a.m. Running. Weight training. Weapons training. Tactics. Discipline. Bob excelled at everything, especially weapons training. Best marksman. Tactical training. Best strategy. But Commander saw something different in Bob. Private Jensen. Do you have mechanical knowledge? Yes, sir. As child, took everything apart. Fix them. What do you know about bomb disposal? Nothing, sir. Want to learn? Bob hesitated. Bombs. Dangerous. Deadly. But mechanical. Intuitive. What Bob loved. Yes, sir. Would like to learn. September 1973. Bob sent to bomb disposal school. Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. 12 weeks. Most intense training. Everyday bombs. Simulations. Real ammunition. Plastic explosives. Timers. Triggers. First week, instructor show bomb. This is standard hand grenade, M67. Contains 6.5 ounces composition B explosive. When pin pulled, explodes in 4 to 5 seconds. If explodes in your hand, kills you. If explodes 3 meters away, kills you. Safe distance, 15 meters. Bob examined bomb. Mechanical structure. Simple, but effective. Second week, more complex. Booby trap bombs. Wire triggers. Pressure triggers. Motion triggers. These types of bombs common in Vietnam. Viet Cong uses them. When you go there, we'll see them. Be very careful. Single mistake means death. Third week, time bombs. Digital, analog, mechanical. In these bombs, must stop timer. But how? Cut wire? Cut power? Every bomb different. Wrong decision, explosion. Bob, every day, work 6 hours on bombs. 50 different types. 50 different disposal methods. And discovered something. Bombs were like puzzles. Mechanical puzzles. And Bob loved solving puzzles. 12th week, final exam. Live bomb. Real. Active. Timer running. 15 minutes. Instructor gave Bob instruction. Private Jensen, defuse bomb. Have 15 minutes. If fail, explodes. But don't worry, we're at safe distance. You're alone. Bob approached bomb. Hands not trembling. Why? Didn't know. Just felt calm. Examined bomb. Timer. Cables. Explosive package. Trigger. 15 minutes. Made plan. Which cables to cut. In what order? Started. First cable. Red. Power source. Cut. Timer stopped. Good. But second trigger present. Backup. Bob found it. Green cable. Cut. Timer completely stopped. Bomb defused. Time elapsed. 8 minutes. Instructor came back. Private Jensen. Perfect. You're natural bomb expert. Talented. Will need you in Vietnam. November 1973. Bob sent to Vietnam. Stationed at base near Saigon. Mission. Defuse Viet Cong bomb traps. Protect soldiers. Save lives. First month. Defuse 12 bombs. All successful. Nobody died. Second month. 20 bombs. Again successful. Third month. One day, bomb call came from village. Viet Cong had placed bomb in village square. 100 civilians in danger. Bob and team went there. Bomb was large. 50 kilograms TNT. Timed. 30 minutes left. Bob examined bomb. But this bomb was different. Complex. Double trigger. 2 separate cable systems. This bomb is trapped, Bob told team leader. If cut wrong cable, explodes immediately. How much time needed? Don't know. Maybe 20 minutes. Maybe not enough. Evacuating civilians. You focus on bomb. 25 minutes left. Bob analyzed first cable system. Red, blue, yellow, green. 4 cables. Which one correct? Tested with multimeter. Measured current. Red. Main power source. Cut. Bomb stopped. But timer continued running. Second trigger active. 20 minutes left. Examine second cable system. More complex. 6 cables. Different colors. Bob was sweating. But hands calm. Why? Didn't know. Just was in moment. Completely focused. Tested. Each cable. With multimeter. Blue cable. Second power source. But yellow cable beside it. Should cut together? Separately? 10 minutes left. Bob decided. Would cut both together. Hands held cables. Prepared scissors. 5 minutes left. God, help me. Cut. Bomb. Stopped. Completely stopped. Bob breathed. First time realized. Had been holding breath. Team leader ran over. Jensen, you did it. Saved village. 100 civilians survived. Thanks to Bob Jensen. That day, Bob learned something. Bombs are deadly, but also logical. Mechanical, if stay calm, can solve them. Stayed 18 months in Vietnam. Defused 167 bombs. All successful. Nobody died. 1975. War ended. Bob returned to America. Received Honor Medal, Bronze Star, for courage. But Bob didn't leave military. Stayed in Army. Became instructor at bomb disposal school. 10 years. Trained young soldiers in bomb disposal. Life-saving techniques. Safety procedures. 1985. FBI made offer to Bob. Special Agent Jensen, we invite you to FBI Bomb Unit. Counterterrorism, bomb threats, national security. Bob accepted. Worked 20 years at FBI. Hundreds of cases. Bomb threats. Real bombs. Simulations. Training. In every case, Bob's calmness saved lives. 1995. Oklahoma City bombing. 168 people killed. Bob coordinated disposal at scene. Search for other possible bombs. 2001. September 11th. Bob went to New York. Ground Zero. Search for other potential threats. 2005. 50 years old. Bob retired from FBI, but didn't stop working. Became professor at Portland State University. Criminology Department. Taught bomb disposal courses. Special Forces training. 15 years, taught hundreds of students, FBI agents, police bomb experts, military personnel. Bob taught with passion because knew every trained person can save lives in future. But at 65, noticed something. Problems with memory started. 2015, Bob was 60 years old, happily married to wife Linda. 40-year marriage, had 2 adult children, David, 38 years old. Sarah, 36 years old. One day, Bob was teaching at university, bomb disposal techniques, explaining to students, then stopped, forgot words, couldn't remember what to say. Professor Jensen, are you okay? Student asked. Bob confused. Where am I? Students looked at each other with concern. Bob came to himself. I apologize. Bit tired. Let's continue. But that night, Linda noticed. Bob, what happened today? David called. Said you froze during class. Don't know. Just forgot words. Temporary. Should go to doctor. Bob didn't want to go, but Linda insisted. 2 weeks later, went to Dr. Helen Park, neurology specialist. Series of tests performed. Cognitive tests. MRI. Brain scan. 1 week later, results came. Dr. Park called Bob and Linda to office. Expression serious. Professor Jensen, need to talk with you about something. Bob held Linda's hand. Test results show early stage Alzheimer's disease. Words hung in air. Alzheimer. Linda said, but that's old age disease. Bob is only 60. Early onset Alzheimer can appear in 50s. Rare but possible. Bob sat silently, in shock. What does this mean? He asked. Disease is progressive. Gradually, we'll have memory loss. Short-term memory goes first, then long-term. Cognitive functions decline. Unfortunately, no cure. Can only slow it. Linda cried. How long? Every patient different. Maybe 5 years. Maybe 10. Maybe more. Bob, on way home, was silent. Just thinking. Lived 60 years. Worked with bombs for 40 years. Saved hundreds of lives. And now, his brain slowly disappearing. That night, told Linda, I'm scared. Me too. We'll forget you. We'll forget children. We'll forget myself. Linda hugged husband. But I'll remember you. David will remember. Sarah will remember. And you'll always be Bob Jensen, our hero. Following 2 years were difficult. Bob started medication. Donepezil, Memantine, to slow Alzheimer progression. First year, small forgetting. Forgetting names. Forgetting dates. Forgetting where put things. Second year, worse, at university. Started forgetting classes. Which class? Which subject? Sometimes when entered classroom, forgot why there. University gently suggested retirement. Professor Jensen, best for your health. rest. Bob, at 62, retired. Second time, at home, stayed with Linda. Every day, memory fading more. One day, went to supermarket, got lost, couldn't remember where it was. Linda called police. 3 hours later, Bob found, sitting in park, confused, third year, worst. Sometimes didn't recognize Linda. Who are you? Why are you in my house? Linda, every time, gently reminded, I'm Linda, your wife. We've been married 43 years. 43 years? Really? Yes, sweetheart. Really. David and Sarah visited regularly, but Bob sometimes forgot them too. Sarah cried one day, Dad, I'm Sarah, your daughter. Please don't forget me. Bob looked at daughter, searched for recognition in eyes, but couldn't find. I'm sorry. I don't remember you. Sarah felt heartbreak, but David comforted. Sarah, Dad is sick. Can't control it, but still loves you. Just doesn't remember. Bob was now 68. Fifth year of Alzheimer. Memory almost completely gone, but one thing still there. Muscle memory. Hands. Hands had worked with bombs for 40 years. And hands didn't forget. 2020. October. Portland. FBI Portland office received urgent call. Bomb threat at downtown conference center. Anonymous, but very specific information. Bomb placed 40 years ago. Training purposes, but never removed. Still active. FBI Special Agent Jennifer Hayes took call. 32 years old. Counterterrorism Division. 40 years ago? Who placed it? Don't know, but caller said it was FBI training. 1980. Portland Conference Center. Simulation bomb, but real explosive used. Never removed. Jennifer checked records. 1980. FBI bomb training. Portland. And found name. Special Agent Robert Jensen. Instructor. Robert Jensen, she murmured. Heard this name. But where? Colleague. Agent Mike Torres. Remembered. Jensen. Was professor at Portland State University. Bomb expert. But retired. Few years ago. Due to Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer? Then won't remember. But he's our only hope. Only he knows where Bomb is. Jennifer found Bob Jensen's address. Called Linda Jensen. Mrs. Jensen, I'm FBI Special Agent Jennifer Hayes. Need to speak with your husband Bob. Urgent situation. Linda worried. Agent Hayes, my husband has Alzheimer's. Most of the time, doesn't even recognize me. How can he help you? Understand, Mrs. Jensen, but this is very serious. There's bomb in downtown conference center. 40 years ago, your husband placed training bomb, but bomb never removed. Still active. And tomorrow, 5,000 people will be at conference center for event. Linda's breath caught. My God, but Bob doesn't remember anything now. We have to try. Can I come? Yes, come. 1 hour later, Jennifer Hayes and team arrived at Jensen home. Linda opened door. Eyes were red. Had been crying. Come in. Bob was sitting in living room, watching television, but with empty stare, like not seeing. Jennifer approached. Professor Jensen? Bob turned, looked with confusion. Who are you? I'm FBI Special Agent Jennifer Hayes. Need to talk with you. Very important. Bob looked at Linda. Linda, who is this woman? Sweetheart, she's from FBI. Going to ask you questions. Okay. Bob nodded, but didn't understand. Jennifer sat beside Bob, spoke slowly, clearly. Professor Jensen, do you remember year 1980? Bob thought, forehead wrinkled. 1980, long time ago. Yes, 40 years ago. You were at FBI then. We're bomb expert. Bomb. Bob's eyes flickered momentarily. Yes, bombs. I was bomb expert. Jennifer felt hopeful. Yes, you were bomb expert and did training in Portland. Conference Center. Do you remember? Bob held head. Portland Conference Center. I don't know. Did so many trainings. Hundreds. But this was special training. Placed simulation bomb. Used real explosive, but forgot to remove it later. Bob panicked. Forgot? I would never forget. I was always very careful. Linda intervened. Sweetheart, this was a long time ago. Nobody blames you. But now, they need you to remember where bomb is. Bob closed eyes. Tried to remember, but brain was like fog. Everything blurry. Mixed. Don't remember. Sorry. Don't remember. Jennifer tried different method. Pulled out photos. Professor, can you look at these photos? From inside conference center. Maybe something will trigger. Bob looked at photos. Main hall. Side corridors. Basement. But nothing familiar. No. Don't recognize. Mike Torres whispered to Jennifer. Won't work. He's too advanced stage. Doesn't remember. But Jennifer didn't give up. Different idea. Professor Jensen. Hands. Hands sometimes remember. Muscle memory. Worked with bombs for 40 years. Do your hands remember? Bob looked at hands. Old hands. Wrinkled. Trembling. My hands. Yes. Can you show how you place bomb? Move. Like you're placing it. Bob, confused, but slowly stood up. Hands started moving. Automatically. Like holding something. Placing something. Bomb. Small. 50 centimeters square. Plastic explosive. C4. 2 kilograms. Jennifer took notes. Yes, continue. Bob, eyes closed, hands moving in air. Timer, digital. Cable system, red, blue, green. 3 cables. Where did you place it? Bob stopped. Where? Hands moved again. Downward, like opening something, then placing inside. Ventilation duct. Metal grill. Secured with screws. For screws. I opened. Put bomb inside. Close grill again. Jennifer excited. Which ventilation duct? Building has hundreds. Bob thought. Eyes still closed. Hands moving. Main hall. Right side. Back. Near wall. From floor 1.5 meters high. Jennifer looked at Mike. Enough information? Let's check. 2 hours later. FBI team at conference center. Main hall. Right side. Back wall. Scan ventilation ducts. Metal detector. X-ray. Third duct. Found something. Metal object. Irregular shape. Inside. Found it. Professor Jensen was right. Bomb disposal unit called. Sergeant David Park. 50 years old. 25 years experience. Open grill. Looked inside. There it was. Small metal box. 40 years old. Rusted. But inside, plastic explosive. C4. 2 kilograms. Timer. Digital. But battery dead? Active? David tested with multimeter. Battery still active. Very weak. But working. Timer in passive mode. But has motion sensor. If touch could activate. Jennifer picked up phone. Called Bob Jensen. Linda answered. Mrs. Jensen, we found bomb. But motion sensitive. Does Professor Jensen remember how to defuse it? Linda gave phone to Bob. Sweetheart, they want to talk with you. About bomb. Bob took phone. Hello. Professor, this is Agent Hayes. We found bomb, but motion sensitive. If touch will activate, how do we defuse it? Bob listened silently, then spoke, but voice changed. More clear, more professional. Like old Bob returned. Motion sensor. Mercury switch. If move bomb, mercury liquid changes position. Circuit completes. Activates. 10 seconds you have. How do we defuse it? 2 methods. First, freeze bomb. Minus 20 degrees. Mercury solidifies. Won't move. Second, back entry. Back panel of bomb. Secured with screws. For screws. Open. Inside battery connection. Red cable. Cut. Power cuts. David Park took notes. Second method faster. Trying it. Be careful. When opening screws, don't move bomb. Single vibration activates. Understood. David and team carefully examined bomb. Back panel. For screws. Must turn very slowly. Must not create vibration. Use special screwdriver. Magnetic. Silent. First screw. Slowly turned. Took 5 minutes. Came out. Second screw. Again slowly. 6 minutes. Third screw. More careful, because bomb starting to loosen. Could move. 7 minutes. Fourth screw. Most critical. Panel coming off. Bomb would be unbalanced. David held breath. Turned screwdriver. Millimeter by millimeter. 10 minutes later, last screw came out. Panel slowly lifted. Inside cables. Battery. Timer. Red cable. Exactly as Bob described. David took cutter. Held cable. Prepared to cut. God, help me. Cut. Bomb. Stopped. Completely stopped. Team breathed. Defused. Professor Jensen saved lives. Again. 2 hours later, Jennifer and Mike returned to Jensen home again. Bob, still sitting in living room, watching television. Linda beside him. Professor Jensen, Jennifer said, came to thank you. We defused bomb. You saved 5,000 people's lives. Bob looked at her with confusion. Bomb? Did I do something? Yes. You told us where bomb was. How to defuse it. Worked perfectly. Bob didn't remember, but smiled. Good I could help. Linda cried from happiness. See, sweetheart, you're still hero. Even if memory gone, heart still there, skills still there. Jennifer held Bob's hand. Professor, want to tell you something. When I joined FBI, first training was on bomb disposal. Instructors showed your videos from Vietnam, from FBI, and told us, Robert Jensen, one of the best bomb experts in history. Calm, focus, always makes right decision. That day, I took you as role model, wanted to be that kind of agent. And today, you still set example for me. Even with Alzheimer's, skills didn't disappear. Hands remembered, heart remembered. Bob looked at Jennifer, searched for meaning in eyes. Couldn't find, but still smiled. Thank you. Don't remember who you are, but what you said was nice. Jennifer tried to hold back tears. Good day, Professor Jensen. You're a legend. When they left, Mike asked, can you believe? Man remembers nothing, but hands remembered 40 years of skills. Muscle memory. Incredible. Jennifer nodded. Alzheimer takes brain, but can't take soul. Can completely take skills. Professor Jensen proved today. He's still hero. Always will be. Next day, event took place at Conference Center. 5,000 people attended. None knew what happened night before. None knew they narrowly escaped death. But Bob Jensen knew. Maybe didn't remember. But in heart, somewhere knew. And that night at home, watching television with Linda, for a moment, Bob returned to old self. Linda? Yes, sweetheart. I remember something. Bomb. Conference Center. Did I help? Linda was surprised. Yes, you did, sweetheart. You saved 5,000 people's lives. Bob smiled. Good. I always wanted to protect people. Happy I still can. Then forgot again. Moment passed. Memory faded again. But Linda never forgot that moment, because that moment showed Bob was still there, deep inside, even if memory gone. Heart still there. 3 years later, 2023, Bob Jensen was 71 years old, 8th year of Alzheimer. Now remembered almost nothing. Sometimes didn't recognize Linda. Sometimes didn't know where it was. Sometimes didn't know who he was. But hands still remembered. Sometimes Bob would move hands, like holding something, installing something, muscle memory. 40 years of bomb work. David and Sarah visited every week, even if father didn't remember them, because they remembered him. Dad, Sarah said one day, you're my hero, always have been. We'll never forget that. Bob looked at daughter, didn't recognize, but smiled. Thank you. You're very kind. That year, FBI Portland office honored Bob Jensen. special ceremony, Lifetime Achievement Award. Jennifer Hayes spoke at ceremony. Professor Robert Jensen. For 40 years, defused hundreds of bombs, saved thousands of lives. In Vietnam, at FBI, in civilian life. And most remarkable, even after Alzheimer's diagnosis, still saved lives. Remembered training bomb placed 40 years ago. Saved 5,000 people from death. Because skills don't live in brain, live in soul. And Professor Jensen's soul never died. Applause from Hall. Bob was on stage, beside Linda, received award, but didn't understand what. What is this? He asked Linda. This is your award, sweetheart, for being hero. Hero? Did I do something? Yes, so much. And everyone loves you. Bob looked at Hall. Hundreds of people applauding for him. Didn't understand, but felt warmth in heart. Maybe could make sense, but felt, and maybe that was enough. Now, Bob Jensen, 72 years old, 11th year of Alzheimer, in nursing home, needs professional care. Linda visits every day. David and Sarah too. Bob now remembers almost nothing, doesn't speak, most of the time, just sits, looks out window, but sometimes hands move, like doing something, installing something. Nurses know this. Professor Jensen was former bomb expert. Hands remember, muscle memory. One day, young nurse asked, "Ma'am, do you know Professor Jensen's story? Was he really hero?" Old nurse smiled. Yes, for 40 years was bomb expert, saved hundreds of lives. In Vietnam, at FBI, and most incredible, when had Alzheimer, still saved lives. 3 years ago, saved 5,000 people. Remembered bomb. Hands remembered even when brain forgot. Young nurse was amazed. Incredible. So even when brain gone, skills remain. Yes, because some things are beyond brain. Live in soul, live in heart, live in hands. That day, when Linda came, sat beside Bob, held hand. "Sweetheart, I'm Linda, your wife. We've been married 50 years. Bob looked at her, didn't recognize, but held hand, squeezed, lightly, and Linda knew Bob was there, deep inside, even if didn't remember, was there. "I love you, Bob. Always will. You're my hero." Bob smiled, small smile, for something couldn't understand, but something felt. Linda looked at husband's hands. Old hands, trembling, but still strong. These hands had held bombs for 40 years, had saved lives. And these hands would never forget. 6 months later, one morning, nurse called Linda. "Mrs. Jensen, have bad news. Professor Jensen slept comfortably tonight, but morning had cardiac arrest. We intervened, but..." Linda felt breath catch. "Did he pass away?" "Yes, we're very sorry. Was painless, in sleep." Linda hung up phone, Saturday, and cried. 52-year marriage had ended, but then remembered something. Something Bob always said, decades ago, before Alzheimer. "Linda, if I go someday, don't be sad, because I lived good life, helped people, loved you, raised children, played with bombs and won. What more could I want?" Linda smiled through tears. "You're right, sweetheart. You lived good life, and will never be forgotten, because you weren't just man, were legend, and legends never die." Funeral held in Portland. Hundreds came. Former FBI agents, former students, bomb experts, soldiers, civilians. Jennifer Hayes gave speech, knowing Professor Robert Jensen was honor, not just hero, teacher, mentor, legend. For 40 years, fought bombs, and never lost, defused hundreds of bombs, saved thousands of lives. And in last years of life, when caught Alzheimer, still saving. Because Professor Jensen's ability wasn't just in brain, was in soul, in heart, in hands. Alzheimer took memory, but couldn't take soul. Today, here, we honor him because he's true hero, and heroes are never forgotten. Applause from Hall. Tears. David stood before father's casket. Dad, I'm proud of you. You taught me courage, taught patience, taught how to help people. And now you're gone. But what you taught stays with me, will teach my children. They'll teach their children. So you'll never die, because you'll live inside us. Sarah couldn't speak, just cried, but had written poem for father. Read it. Your hands held bombs for 40 years. Your hands saved thousands of lives. Brain forgot, but hands remembered, because you weren't just brain, were heart, soul, and love. And now you're gone, but still here, in every bomb expert, in every student, in every life. You'll never leave, Dad, because you're eternal. Funeral ended silently. Everyone left with own memories. Bob Jensen's memories. 3 months later, FBI Portland office erected monument to Bob Jensen's memory. In office lobby, bronze bust, Bob's face, hands working on bomb. Calm, focused, below plaque. Professor Robert Jensen, 1955 to 2023 bomb expert. Teacher, hero, when hands forget. Heart remembers against hundreds of bombs. Never lost. Saved thousands of lives. Never gave up. Jennifer Hayes gave opening speech. This monument isn't just for Professor Jensen. For everyone fighting Alzheimer. Disease can take memory, but can't take soul, can't take skills, can't take love. Professor Jensen, in last 10 years of life, forgot most things, but never forgot helping people, and that made him eternal. Monument seen daily by FBI agents. Reminds them, true heroes don't die. Continue living, in memories, in inspirations, in lives. Now, present day. At Portland State University, scholarship established in Bob Jensen's name. Robert Jensen Bomb Disposal Scholarship. Every year, 3 students receive full scholarship for training in bomb disposal field. First recipient was young woman, Lisa Chun, 22 years old, engineering student. Didn't know Professor Jensen. Lisa said at award ceremony, but read his story and was inspired because he didn't just fight bombs, fought fear, fought uncertainty, fought Alzheimer, and never gave up. Want to be like that. Like him, calm, focused, brave. Linda Jensen was at ceremony, applauded through tears, because knew Bob might be gone, but legacy lives in every new bomb expert, in every saved life, in every brave act. Bob Jensen was immortal. That night, Linda was alone at home, sat in Bob's old office, looked at photos around. Young Bob, in Vietnam, at FBI, teaching at university. Happy, strong, full of life. On desk, found diary, written by Bob. Years ago, right after Alzheimer diagnosis. Open pages, Bob's handwriting. Shaky, but readable. Last page. Note, February 2016. Today, doctor diagnosed Alzheimer. Not afraid, because live good life. For 40 years, help people. Defuse bombs. Save lives. Train students. No disease will progress. We'll lose memory. We'll forget Linda. We'll forget children. We'll forget myself. But know one thing. Soul is stronger than brain. Heart is stronger than memory. And hands remember what mind forgets. If one day, forget everything, we'll look at hands and know they'll remember 40 years experience, 40 years skill, 40 years love. This disease can't destroy me, just changes me, and I'm ready for change. Linda, David, Sarah, if you're reading this, know I love you, always will. Even if don't remember, heart will remember. And if one day look at you like strangers, please don't be angry, because I'm still there, deep inside, just unreachable. But love never disappears. Maybe can't see, but feels. Stay well. And remember, bombs aren't just explosives. Sometimes life's difficulties are bombs, but every bomb has a solution. Stay calm, focus, and never give up. I never gave up. You shouldn't either. With love, Bob Jensen, ***. When Linda finished letter, was crying, but smiling too. You never gave up, sweetheart. And I won't either. We'll keep living for you. We'll tell your story. Because people should know, Alzheimer is an end, just different beginning. That night, Linda slept, but in dream saw Bob, young, strong, calm, working on bomb, smiling. Did good, Linda. Will always love you. Me too, Bob. Always. Epilogue. 10 years later. 2033. Portland Conference Center holding annual security meeting. FBI, police, fire department, bomb experts. Speaker, Agent Jennifer Hayes. Now 42 years old. Counterterrorism Division Chief. Friends, today we'll tell a special story. 13 years ago, this building had bomb. Placed 40 years earlier. Training bomb, but real explosive. Forgotten. And 5,000 people were at death's threshold. But one man saved them. Professor Robert Jensen, 72 years old. Alzheimer patient. Memory gone. Forgot names. Forgot places. But hands remembered. 40 years of bomb work. Muscle memory. Hands remembered even when brain forgot. And that day, Professor Jensen taught us lesson. Memory may go, but skills remain. Soul remains. Love remains. This year, through FBI and Portland State University collaboration, opening Robert Jensen Alzheimer Research Center. Goals: understand Alzheimer, find treatment, but also discover Alzheimer patients' abilities, integrate them into society. Because Professor Jensen proved Alzheimer patients aren't helpless, just differently talented. Today, here, we honor Professor Jensen and tell all Alzheimer patients, you're not alone, you're not forgotten, and you're still valuable. Applause, standing ovation. And in back of that hall, old woman sat, Linda Jensen, 83 years old, smiling through tears. Did you hear that, Bob? They didn't forget you. Never will. Because you weren't just man, we're legend, and legends never die. That night, when Linda returned home, stood before Bob's photo. Young Bob, smiling, happy, good night, sweetheart, love you, always will, and left room in darkness. But Bob in photo still smiling, because knew love never dies. Even if memory goes, even if body goes, love stays forever. And maybe that's life's greatest bomb. And Bob Jensen never let explode. Conclusion and message. If there's one thing to learn from this story, it's this. Alzheimer is terrible disease. Takes memory, changes personality, makes you forget loved ones, but can take one thing: soul, heart, love. Professor Robert Jensen, in last 10 years of life, forgot most things, but never forgot helping people. And last mission was most important. Saved 5,000 people's lives. Without memory, just with hands. Because some things are deeper than brain. Muscle memory, soul memory, love memory. Bob Jensen defused hundreds of bombs throughout life. But biggest bomb was Alzheimer. And even against that bomb, he won. Because didn't give up. Never. And what we should learn, we shouldn't give up either. Against bombs life throws at us, should stay calm, focus, and never surrender. Because every bomb has solution, every difficulty has way out, and in every darkness there's light. Bob Jensen was that light, and you can be too.